Throughout history, humanity has looked to the heavens, the earth, and within, searching for meaning, guidance, and a connection to something greater than ourselves. This universal quest has given birth to countless stories, tales of courage, wisdom, and profound transformation that have shaped civilizations and inspired billions. Today, we journey through some of the most powerful and inspiring religious stories of all time, tales that transcend their origins to speak to the core of the human experience. These are not just ancient myths, they are living narratives about faith, struggle, and the incredible potential that lies within each of us. So, let's explore the timeless wisdom woven into these sacred accounts. Our journey begins in the vast, windswept desert of Midian, where a shepherd named Moses, a fugitive prince of Egypt, is tending his flock. Life has become a quiet routine, a stark contrast to his royal upbringing. Curiosity pulls him closer. As he approaches, a voice calls out to him, a voice from the heart of the fire, identifying itself as the God of his ancestors. This is no ordinary encounter. It's a divine appointment that will change the course of history. Moses, filled with self-doubt and fear, questions his ability to fulfill the monumental task set before him, to return to Egypt and demand that the mighty Pharaoh free the enslaved Israelites. He argues he is not a good speaker, that no one will believe him. But the voice from the burning bush is persistent. It promises to be with him, to give him the words to say and the power to perform miracles. This story is a powerful symbol of the divine call that can come to any of us, often when we least expect it and feel least prepared. It teaches us that our past doesn't define our future, and that faith isn't about our own strength, but about trusting in a power greater than ourselves. Moses' journey from a hesitant shepherd to a liberator of a nation starts right here, with a single, transformative spark of faith in the face of the impossible. It's a timeless reminder that even in our moments of greatest doubt, we can be called to do extraordinary things. From the desert sands, we travel to the valley of Elah, where two armies are locked in a tense standoff. The Philistines, a formidable force, have a champion who strikes terror into the hearts of the Israelite soldiers, a giant named Goliath. For 40 days, this colossal warrior, clad in heavy bronze armor, has taunted the Israelites, challenging any one of them to single combat to decide the battle's outcome. But no one dares to face him. The entire army, including King Saul, is paralyzed by fear. Then, a young shepherd boy named David arrives at the camp, sent by his father to bring supplies to his older brothers on the front lines. He hears Goliath's defiant shouts and is shocked by the fear he sees in the soldiers. While everyone else sees an unbeatable giant, David sees an opportunity to defend the honor of his people and his God. He boldly declares that he will fight Goliath. King Saul is skeptical, offering David his own royal armor, but it's too heavy and cumbersome for the young boy. David refuses it. Instead, he walks towards the battlefield armed with only what he knows best, his shepherd's staff, a sling, and 5 smooth stones he picks from a stream. Goliath scoffs at the sight of this young boy approaching him, mocking his lack of armor and weaponry. But David's confidence is not in weapons of war. His faith is his shield. He replies that while Goliath comes with a sword and a spear, he comes in the name of the Lord. With a single, well-aimed stone from his sling, David strikes the giant on the forehead, and Goliath falls to the ground. This iconic underdog story resonates so deeply because it's about more than just physical strength. It's a powerful lesson in courage, conviction, and the idea that our biggest giants, whether they are external challenges or internal fears, can be overcome not by might, but by faith and ingenuity. David's victory reminds us that the size of our opponent is nothing compared to the size of our belief. Now, let's journey east, to ancient India, to a palace of unparalleled luxury. Here lives a young prince named Siddhartha Gautama. Shielded from the world's harsh realities by his father, the king, Siddhartha's life is one of comfort, pleasure, and indulgence. He knows nothing of sickness, old age, or death. But this gilded cage cannot hold his curious spirit forever. Venturing outside the palace walls for the first time, he encounters what his father had so desperately tried to hide: an old man, a sick person, a decaying corpse, and finally, a wandering ascetic, a holy man who had renounced all worldly possessions in search of peace. These 4 sights shatter Siddhartha's perception of reality. He realizes that the pleasure and luxury of his life are fleeting and that suffering is an inescapable part of the human condition. Haunted by this profound discovery, he makes a radical decision. At the age of 29, he leaves his palace, his wife, his newborn son, and his royal destiny behind. He trades his fine silks for a simple robe and embarks on a quest to understand the nature of suffering and find a way to end it. For 6 years, He studies with renowned teachers and practices extreme asceticism, starving his body in the belief that self-denial would lead to spiritual liberation. But this path only brings him closer to death, not enlightenment. Realizing that neither extreme indulgence nor extreme deprivation holds the answer, he discovers what he calls the middle way. He sits beneath a bodhi tree, vowing not to rise until he finds the truth. Through deep meditation, he confronts his inner demons, his desires, and his fears. Finally, as the morning star rises, he achieves enlightenment. He becomes the Buddha, the awakened one. His story is a timeless journey of self-discovery, showing that true wisdom isn't found in external comforts or extreme denial, but in looking inward, understanding our own minds, and finding a balanced path to peace. Our final story takes us to a quiet, solitary cave on a mountain near the city of Mecca. It is the year 610. A merchant named Muhammad, known for his integrity and contemplative nature, often retreats to the cave of Hira to meditate and reflect on the social injustices and spiritual emptiness he sees in the world around him. He is deeply troubled by the polytheism and tribal rivalries of his society. During one of these retreats, in the final days of the month of Ramadan, his solitude is broken by a powerful, awe-inspiring presence. The angel Gabriel appears before him, commanding him with a voice that shakes the very mountain, Iqra, which means read or recite. Muhammad, who is illiterate, is terrified. He protests that he cannot read. The angel embraces him, squeezing him tightly until he can barely breathe, and repeats the command. This happens 3 times, and each time Muhammad feels an overwhelming pressure, both physically and spiritually. On the 3rd command, the words begin to flow from him. These are the first verses of what would become the Quran, the holy book of Islam. He recites, "Read in the name of your Lord who created man from a clinging substance. Read, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man that which he knew not." Shaken and trembling, Muhammad flees the cave and rushes home to his wife, Khadijah. She comforts him, reassures him of his sanity and his character, and becomes the very first person to believe in his mission. This event, known as Laylat al-Qudr, or the Night of Power, marks the beginning of Muhammad's life as a prophet. His message was one of radical monotheism, social justice, compassion for the poor and orphaned, and the establishment of a community, or ummah, bound not by blood, but by faith. This story emphasizes that revelation can come in moments of quiet contemplation, and that a divine call often demands we rise above our own perceived limitations. It's a powerful narrative about mercy, the importance of knowledge, and the profound impact one person's spiritual awakening can have on the entire world. From the burning bush in the desert to a giant falling in a valley, from an enlightened prince under a tree to a revelation in a mountain cave, these stories have echoed through millennia for a reason. They speak to a fundamental human yearning, the search for connection, the desire for meaning, and the hope for a better world. They show us that faith isn't just about abstract beliefs. It's about action, courage, compassion, and transformation. It's the shepherd who becomes a leader, the boy who defeats a giant, the prince who finds peace, and the merchant who inspires a global community. These narratives remind us that ordinary people can be called to do extraordinary things, and that within every struggle lies the seed of a profound awakening. The power of these stories is their ability to inspire us to look at our own lives, our own challenges, our own giants and deserts, and to find the faith to take that next step. Thank you for joining us on this journey through some of history's most inspiring tales. If these stories moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the rich tapestry of human spirituality. Until next time, may you find inspiration in your own journey.